Okay, welcome back to another Super Craps 2 devlog. This week I've made a couple different changes. One is to the playfield itself. I went to the graphics, I added the logo, and I went in and I made the coloring consistent with a regular casino table. So in a regular casino, the one roll bets are red. So all my hot bets and the horn in the world, they're all red because they signify a one roll bet. The orange has been added to the bets that stay up until 7. So you have your all tall small, or the totem bet as I'm calling it, the hard ways, and I did the consistent stuff that you would see in a regular playfield. I didn't extend it over to the field bet because those are one roll as well, but they aren't red on a casino table. I just kept the coloring consistent, like it would be on a regular table. So that's the first thing I did. The second thing I did this week is I went in and added some UI enhancements. So I'll show here just basic stuff. So if I before the the walking circles were on all the time, so now they only turn on when you have a bet on the field. So if you have something on, you know it's there because the circles are moving. Second thing I did is I added the X button to remove your bet. So if you're able to remove the bet, if the point wasn't on, you can remove it. And then you add the logic in. So now it's on the 6. So now I can't remove my bet from the pass line. I did the same for the odds bet. So now the odds bet has the max button working, and then you can remove your odds bet from the pass line if you choose to do so. So we can remove that. The money goes back. The in play and bankroll update as they should. That was a bug that I had to hunt down for a while. And so that's the basic thing. Pretty much I'm done now with the pass line bet. I've gone through and made all the changes I need to make for now. Next, I'm going to just knock out the rest of the play field. So I'll start with the don't pass, then I'll hit the one roll bets because that's the same bet logic, just different number combinations. It's really easy to knock out. Then I'll tackle things like the come bet. That's the big one. The come bet takes the longest time to code in because you have to have the chip move from the come to whatever number was rolled. And so there is some animation that needs to be added in, and then that takes time. And that's going to be a separate script. One thing I can do today is go into the script. I can just do a quick code walk. Let me pull up Visual Studio and show how this works. So I have a bunch of different scripts, but the main bet script goes on to any of the bets on the play field. And there's a lot of public variables. I'm a shitty programmer, not going to lie. But some of this code is from Supercraps, or the first Supercraps from Android, and some of it I added in, making some changes here. I use lists instead of arrays because arrays you need to know how many objects are going to go into the array before you build it, whereas a list you can just add and remove things willy-nilly. These are offsets. There's my buttons, more buttons. I could put all those into an array, but I'm lazy. So there's just some public. This gets the current bet value. This returns whatever the number of the bet is. I got my awake functions. It turns off all the indicators, all the buttons. Get click listeners added to them for the UI. This is a quick function math. This is a multiple of 5. That's for like the 5 and 9 and the 4 and 10. And there's a multiple of 6. And that figures out if it's the 6 or the 8. It needs to be a multiple of 6. So if you're making an odds bet, or if you're making a bet on the table, it automatically ups it to whatever units it needs to up it to make it a legal bet. That's one thing I'm not going to do in this game. I'm not going to make it so you can bet ways that you wouldn't normally be able to do at a casino. And I'm probably going to limit it to things that you would get you kicked out, or the dealers would just refuse to do so. Because honestly, you couldn't do that at a real table. If you're going to play this game, the odds are you're going to play it, and then you're going to go to a casino and test out your strategy in a live situation. And the dealers will hate you if you go against making ridiculous bets with weird unit values. You'll just have a really bad time. So this removes the odds bet button. That's the max bet button script. Everything's in its own method. I guess that's what C#, I always call it a function, but in C# it's called a method. These are the animations for moving stuff. I write my own notes in my comments because I will get pulled away and have to come back in like 3 weeks and forget everything I wrote. So I always write comments on my code so I remember. And then I can go into here's the set bet function. So this removes the X button if it's there. If there's no odds chips, what you're doing is you're just going to increase the bet unless the point's on, and then it's going to increase the odd bet if the point's on, is all this is doing. And everything else is just logic, it's basic stuff. It's a lot of if else. I use a lot of nested if else statements. I know there's better ways to do it, but when you're kind of just need to get it done, this works perfectly fine. If I had to write something for somebody else, maybe I'd go back and I'd clean it up. Probably wouldn't. So this is how it works in a nutshell. On the play field, there is the pass line bet, and I have my UI elements kind of floating above it. And then you can see underneath the children for the main bet are all the button indicators and the UI stuff. This is the actual mesh that shows the circles when they move, those green circles. And then I have the rest of my bets up. There's no logic in them yet, but every one of the bets on the table will get the bet script component added to it, and then you'll go through, and I usually copy this one. I don't usually start from scratch because you got to fill all this stuff out again. And that's how I do it. I'll just do that and knock it out for the rest of the all these different bets that you have to hit. So you can see they're all there. They just have to have the logic added to them now that I got this bet script working as intended. And that's all I've done for this week. I only get so much time to work on this, a couple hours maybe. So anyway, that's the update for the week, and I will make one next week. Stay motivated. Thanks for watching.